Hello, friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with Daily Events Worldwide, and we are on January 29th, 2024. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet, and welcome to the Daily Do, giving you your space weather update as well earthquakes and a look at volcanoes and world weather. Always starting out here looking at the last 48 hours of imagery of our sun. Amazing images as we have seen a couple M-class solar flares, and of course, posted earlier a very large CME, coronal mass ejection, in the outgoing position. Having a look at the last 48 hours incoming, cresting into view, we have a pretty busy sunspot region. Not many sunspot regions right now in view, but there is a lot on the backside. Having a look here, lots of plasma activity along the equator of our sun. And as well, on the left-hand side, watch that M-class solar flare zap with those huge fluid plasma ropes stretching from the surface of our sun. Having a look at multi-spectrum, pointing out the last 48 hours of events. And as well, noting the coronal hole regions, which are cooled regions on our sun, and when they are in Earth-facing, they can produce increased solar wind speeds, which we're already seeing right now up in over 400 kilometers per second. And there are our coronal holes. 171 angstroms here. This is where we can really see the umbral fields and sunspot regions in action. And right now, there are 4. 2 that are Earth-facing and 2 turning away. One of them very active today. Current space weather conditions, we are under R2 radio moderate blackouts expected, and as well solar radiation storm impacts expected. Solar winds are coming in at 466 kilometers per second. Solar X-ray flux showing their long duration, strong M-class solar flare, and as well the solar proton flux. Geomagnetic activity up to just about a 3 now. Let's have a look at the Enlil space prediction spiral here, as they are showing some space weather heading our way 30th into the 31st from that coronal mass ejection. It was not a head-on impact. It is set to give us a glancing blow. Looks like I missed the updated imagery here. These images are not showing the CME that took off. But LASCO 2 and 3 are now showing what exactly happened. And as you can see here, this was a full halo CME action all around the dark blue disk. Wow. And you can see the increased radiation and static into the view of the SDO satellites. LASCO 2 updated as well. And here's a look at the most recent large coronal mass ejection right there. Boom! That was a big one, and thank God that was not in an Earth-facing direction. That could have been disastrous for most radio and transmission signals across the globe. That was a pretty massive CME. Having a look here at the highest frequency absorption map, showing the solar radiation impacts on our planet. Most of it being in across the East Pacific. But long duration here. Heads up. Electromagnetic fields definitely being disrupted. That means our hearts and our minds and everything that is living on this planet set to feel these frequencies. And much love to you all, and thank you so much for tuning in right now, giving you an update on that large coronal mass ejection, able to show you images here with LASCO. ISWA Space Prediction Spiral showing yet another CME from the western limb, not in an Earth-facing direction. Now let's get to earthquakes the past 24 hours, as we're up and over 200 earthquakes in a 24-hour period. Just recently, a 4.9 earthquake there south of Australia, Macquarie Island. Timor-Leste, 4.4. Largest earthquake the past 24 hours, other than the 6.5 in Brazil, 5.7 here in China. and as well notable activity across the Virgin Islands northeast of Puerto Rico. The Virgin Islands reporting a 4.6 earlier there today. Multiple aftershocks through the region. Notable earthquake here off the coast of Oregon, 4.0 magnitude earthquake off the coast. And as well, notable activity across the United States. Wanted to show you here this 6.5 earthquake, 609 kilometer depth. Very rare and deep earthquake for the region. And as well, noting here all the activity northeast of Puerto Rico. And looking across the United States, lots of minor activity, central regions and Mexico-Texas border. But also notable, most recent increasing activity northwest of Yellowstone, Hodgson Lakes. And just recently, we're seeing more activity across the Big Island. Lots of minor activity this week all along the Southeast Rift, the Kilauea volcano. USGS reporting over 230 earthquakes in a 24-hour period. Let's have a quick glance here at the last 7 days for shakers across the world, as we've seen some rare deep earthquakes, notable, and talking about the one in Brazil. And as well, all of the activity, Tibetan Plateau that we've seen and continue to see. That's the last 7 days. Now let's have a look at our SO2 forecast brought to you by our volcanoes. This is all SO2 air quality forecast. Sulfur dioxide emissions. As you can see, a big plume coming out of the Pacific Northwest, United States. And as well, all across the North Pacific right now, multiple eruptions at Kamchatka. And as well, northern Siberia, big plume there. And through Indonesia, with multiple volcano players through the region erupting this week. Lots of SO2 coming out of Mount Etna. And as well, through the Mediterranean and across Africa. Now let's get to weather here, brought to you by windy.com. Not much for Europe and Africa. Most of the systems are strong and in the North Atlantic right now. Not expected to make landfall in this forecast model. They are set and forecasted to head straight north, following the polar vortex as it has settled somewhat, but over northern Siberia. Overlooking North America, as we've got the Pineapple Express, lots of moisture heading into the BC coast and Alaska this week, and even parts of Northern California. Long-range forecast showing a pretty strong low moving into the coastline, and as well multiple lows affecting the Gulf and Eastern Canada. Other than that, it's going to be pretty dry across Canada. Let's have a look at temperature forecasts. Very mild across western parts, but watch for that polar vortex to swing around yet again. High pressure ridges coming in from Alaska. Long range forecast will see a cool down towards the middle of February, pretty much. And then overlooking Australia, Southeast Asia, cyclone east of Mauritius, and as well strong systems here developing in the long range for Australia. Other than that, no major cyclones or typhoons developing, but looks like forecast models showing some intense systems heading across the Northern Territory of Australia and through New South Wales. I also wanted to share here with you some imagery. Very large dust storm has formed off the coast of Africa, showing all these dust particulates stretching all the way up into Spain and into Venezuela. So very dry air moving across central Atlantic right now. We've also got Invest Area number 93 and Tropical Cyclone Engrek, which at one point was a Category 4 cyclone, packing winds of 205 miles per hour. Heads up, everybody, stay aware, prepared, and thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the show. God bless you all. Stay aware, prepared, stay young, and have fun, and get your daily dew. We'll see you next video. Bye-bye now. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends and family from across the world.